expressed in this show belong to the person expressing them. They do not purport to reflect the opinions or views of Rancher or any other entity.
Hi, hello, and welcome to the WifeBot Show, the best show on earth. I got an upgrade. Adrian has been working really hard to upgrade his WifeBot.
Hey!
What?
What are you doing? The show doesn't...
I'm running the show. You weren't here.
Uh-oh. I'm in trouble.
Please hold. La-da-da, la-da-da.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome
To the WifeBot Show. Sorry.
Welcome to today's episode. Welcome to today's episode of Coffee and Cloud Native, the show that shares news and interesting content related to Kubernetes, Cloud Native, and other nifty technology. My name is Adrian Goins, and this is the lovely WifeBot, and we are delighted to be here with you today. Aren't we?
We are delighted, thrilled, ecstatic.
There's a whole bunch of words up there. Do you want to read them all?
Oh my God, yes,
We are
ecstatic.
stoked, delighted.
What's the one after ecstatic?
Woo-wee! Hot sauce!
That's what I thought it said.
Anyone who watches The Expanse, what was his name? Alex?
Alex. Oh, Alex.
Alex Kamal?
Yes.
Yeah. R.I.P. Alex. Oh, spoiler. Crap.
Oops.
I mean, R.I.P. and anyway, we're excited to be here with you today. If you're watching live, consider following or subscribing to the channel.
Don't forget
And
those.
if you are, where's my subscribe button? If you're watching a replay in the future, please give the video a thumbs up so that YouTube shares it with other people. Join the free community site and the Discord server. And there's a whole thing with live chat with Discord and a bot that relays between YouTube and Twitch because it's a show about technology, right?
It is?
You know about technology.
I thought it was a show about coffee.
WifeBot has been learning about Kubernetes. Not really. Nobody's telling us anything. Oh, so chat. Let's go say hello.
Chat.
Who do we have? Because the live chat is like just total absolute madness during the show, but then it continues after the show. So like, come.
It is. It's madness. It's
Oh, it's
madness.
super madness today.
Mac is here.
Hey, Mac. So,
Nuno,
of course, Nuno.
Dirk, my friendly neighborhood wizard.
Dirk.
Some dude named Adrian Goins. Some other
That dude
dude.
owes me money.
Some other dude named Adrian, but a different one. Peter Keach.
Okay.
Vito, hello.
Vito, thank you so much for joining us today. Vito tried to join yesterday, not realizing that we'd changed the schedule around, and it's difficult for him to join. So thank you for going out of your way to join us today.
Captain Justin, Mac. I think I already said Mac.
Captain Justin, we
Shipwreck.
haven't seen you in forever.
Shipwreck?
Shipwreck. Rock on.
Matthew. Ian. Wojtek.
Wojtek, cześć.
Ariel.
Ariel.
Rob. Peter Keach.
Hello.
I think.
Now you understand my suffering when I scroll. You just like scroll
totally.
past all the gifts. Oh, show me the leaderboard.
I know there were other people in here.
Who's ranked? So Ellie is still with us. That's nice.
Ellie.
So we got Nuno,
I love
Ian,
Ellie.
Mac, Peter Keach, Kyra C, and Duck, Vito, and Shipwreck. Those are the top 10 chatty people, besides us, on the Discord server. Okay, we have stuff. Wait, we're supposed to actually do a show today.
Stuff and things. What show?
Stuff.
The coffee show. Slurp.
Stuff and things.
Oh, they love
they
love
saw-
the shirt.
It's cold this morning, so I only have branded hoodies. So I unbranded it.
Do you guys like the art? He drew a coffee cup.
There's a coffee cup on it too.
I wasn't really sure what
We'll
that
be
was.
selling these for $4.99 in the merch store.
Yeah, get the merch.
Get a hoodie from anywhere.
Except we only sell the tape, not the hoodie.
Wait, that's what I meant. It'll be like the "Hello, my name is" stickers.
Already torn and everything.
All right. I have no news today, other than we're in the big studio because after like a year and a half of pandemic construction, we finally finished it. Now that we're leaving the country, and we figured that,
But we'll enjoy it.
Yeah, we figured we spent a bunch of money to build it. We might as well hang out in it. Plus, it enables me to get her to join the show, and that'll be more exciting.
It's like he likes me or something.
Shh. Anyway, let's get busy.
No more zombies. No more zombies.
The collector bots have gathered candidates for the show, and Trufflebot has scored them from 1 to 5 coffees. He's going to post them one at a time in Discord. Anyone watching live can rate them. Your votes are used to train the machine learning model that chooses content for the show. Not really chooses, but curates. So get in there and vote. Because voting, exercising your... Oh my gosh.
Look.
Somebody noticed the art.
Somebody has a good eye.
Okay, first up today we have this interesting thing, Endgame. Now, this was all over Hacker News last week, and I think actually this came from Dirk. The guy who posted it is actually originally from Salesforce. That repo was removed, then the fork was removed, then all of his private stuff was removed. So we think that they buried him somewhere out in the parking lot. But there have been a couple other forks that survived, and Discord wants to send me notifications. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, this is one of them. I also forked it myself, but I'm not going to share that with you because, well, whatever. This is... They call it a pen testing tool, but really what this is leverage. This is a tool that demonstrates just how easy it is to compromise additional AWS resources once you get a foot in the door. AWS's own security scanning utilities don't detect many of the vulnerabilities. I mean, not really vulnerabilities, but many of the avenues for privilege escalation. So it's possible you could run AWS's tools and still be owned. So what Salesforce created is a tool that makes it really easy to do that. You just basically give it a set of account credentials, and then it proceeds to own everything. Now, it does have a dry run mode. They're actually going to make that the default, so just be aware that if you actually run this, you're going to actually own your stuff. This kind of stuff, I don't know, what do you think about responsible disclosure?
What? I'm sorry. I was talking about split screens with Shipwreck.
Oh, so one of the cool things about the construction of the house is that it actually creates a wormhole between us. So while we were close to one another a moment ago, now actually she's really far away. Responsible disclosure. Oh, so has a gif about responsibility.
I think responsibility is great. I am a very responsible person myself.
There was a lot of conversation about whether this was the right thing to do, whether putting this out for the internet is good, bad, shameful. I mean, because basically it's shaming AWS and being like, what you've released isn't really, it's not what we need, and it's not good enough. The argument is that it would be better for them to just work with AWS directly. Salesforce is a huge partner of AWS. So would it be better for them to quietly behind closed doors be like, hey guys, can you fix this?
Well, probably it's like the difference between critique and criticism. Like, was their feedback, whether it's live or not, useful to help improve things? Or was it just criticizing for the sake of criticizing?
I think it's designed to force them to do something about it because now everybody's like, the emperor's naked.
So they have no choice.
They have no choice.
Interesting. I think it should be not the first resort.
Okay, so there we get into the concept of responsible disclosure as a general thing. The idea behind responsible disclosure is if I find a vulnerability in your application, I don't just go and tell the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you, and I give you a reasonable amount of time to fix it, and if you don't, then I go and tell the internet because...
Yeah,
because
exactly. You escalate.
The objective is not
You shouldn't start with it.
No, that would be irresponsible.
Exactly.
The objective being to give you an opportunity to make something right, but the overarching goal is to make the internet a stronger, safer place.
Yeah.
By exposing people who do a bad job of that. And even if I'm exposing the vulnerability in a web application, I'm not actually trying to help the company be better. I'm trying to help the company's users.
That is true.
Like the people who don't know that their private data, their credit cards, their social security number, their email addresses might be visible. And to that end, there was a massive compromise of Indian government facilities in the last week. Did you guys see this?
I didn't know this.
So some security researchers just started probing around on the Indian government because they had permission to do so, and ended up very, very quickly compromising police, military, government, private data for like 1 billion citizens and a bunch of other stuff. Revealed this information to the Indian government, who didn't, well, first they said thank you and publicly tweeted about it. The problem is that they publicly tweeted who it was that found the compromises, and this was a legit security research team, which then brings the other people out of the woodwork who are like, oh, the Indian government is vulnerable. Let us go and explore. And a month later, they hadn't patched most of them. So the vulnerabilities were still there and probably now actually getting exploited. So that led to the same conversation. They did perform responsible disclosure.
But was it necessary, like right away?
They told the Indian government didn't do anything about it. And they actually waited a long time to they didn't say exactly what they'd compromised. They just said these are the systems that are vulnerable. But within that window, probably other people could go and figure out what was vulnerable and may have actually accelerated the compromise. It's a balancing act.
It's an interesting thing because the thing is, people respond very strongly to negative information, a lot stronger than to things running smoothly. So when something is running smoothly, people don't really care. But as soon as you point out one thing that's imperfect, everyone panics. So you have this herd reaction that's negative that may be irreversible.
Dangerous world.
It do be that.
Next up from the interesting department, we have this. My slipper just fell off. There we go. Problems. Now, this is not a new piece of content, but is an interesting piece of content. We all, especially this one here, we're all familiar with using Helm to install packages. I find her in the kitchen using Helm to cook dinner.
I am a legendary Helm user.
My other slipper just fell off.
What is going on?
I'm fidgeting and my slippers are falling off.
We don't even have a cat. Cats take slippers. Everyone knows that.
Really?
Yes.
Our cats never took slippers. So you're familiar with doing Helm for stuff. Okay, good. The argument here is that you can actually use Helm to set up more complicated things, and the example that they use here is a namespace. So scrolling past all of you can use Helm to do all kinds of stuff. Let me actually make that a little bit bigger for you. Notice that in values.yaml, they set some variables, and then they use those variables to create resources like limit range, resource quota, the role binding, and the resources and limits around the namespace itself. These are things that are really easy to not do because you need a namespace. You're just like, great namespace. And then you're like, I'll go back and do it later. Anytime that I tell myself I'll go back and do it later, there's another voice in my head that just sits there and goes, no, you won't. And that voice is usually right.
That's so true.
Yeah. You're just lying to yourself. Again. For like the 8th time today. So while I kind of think that using Helm to create a namespace as a package before you go and do something else is, I don't know, it's like a nuclear bomb for a fly. I like the idea of using a tool to enforce good behavior. And then the habit is not, I gotta go do all these other things, which is like, oh my gosh, that's so much work. The habit simply becomes, I'll just go and run this tool that does this stuff for me. So it's an interesting idea. What kind of tricks do you use to trick yourself into doing things that you otherwise don't want to do? Habitica.
Yeah, I like gamification and I like getting actual little things and pets and rewards in a game world. And that way I get everything done. And they're not real rewards, they're imaginary, but I think they're even cooler that way.
I've seen her at the end of the day, she has her dailies that she needs to get done, and she's like, I have to dust something. I have to dust something. And that's how the house stays clean.
And stuff gets done.
Like that.
Rewards.
Okay. I actually use Habitica throughout the day for pretty much all of my work tasks, and then on the weekend for my personal tasks as well. It makes it a lot easier to do the things that I don't want to do, because now I'm not just doing them for posterity's sake, I'm doing them to get more gold so I can buy a better sword.
No, all jokes aside, I use it for my work as well. Like, I have a bunch of videos lined up, and it's easy when you're a YouTuber, when you're a teacher, to just have things in this giant pile of, or eventually I have to make this video on skin tones. Eventually I have to connect with that student. But it's a Stepford wife. And you just, and you know, people throw these ideas at you and you just put them in this giant pile. But as soon as you organize them and give them sometimes even arbitrary dates, sometimes it doesn't need to be done by next week, but I'll just make it due next week. And all of a sudden my to-do list just goes away.
Slow and steady wins the race. Next up we have this. So the link actually takes you to a specific educational example. This is an Indian company that has created an education portal for developers. And I'll take you to their homepage in just a second. This particular one is about learning how to containerize an application and then deploy it into Kubernetes. And this is what the bots picked up. But when I jumped out to who they are, you might think that, like, why does it matter that they're Indian? Because if you look at their marketing, they're clearly marketing towards an Indian audience. They've got VC funding from Indian VC firms. They've got all of their testimonials from Indians, but it's done in English and it looks like the content is valuable. The idea being that if you want to learn how to do more stuff, well, learning how to do more stuff is the way to do it. It's pretty simple. But
Brilliant.
So they've got these tracks. So for example, full stack web developer track, back end web developer track, front end web developer track. Their idea is, where can I scroll down to there? They have a graph down here somewhere. Is it here?
Doug says, so much to do and no one to tell to do it.
Remember, if you want, so part of the reason the WifeBot is here on the show today is to make it easier for me to interact with you in the chat. So if you want to get my attention, say something with a beep, but call her out at WifeBot, and then she'll find that and will read it to me, and we can interact like we're all here together. So their idea is that on the scale between passive learning and hands-on learning, video-based online course. Oh my God, college got a really low rating. If you go to college,
Baby Shark.
oh my gosh, I got attacked. If you go to college, basically it's passive learning with low industry exposure, so you've just wasted a bunch of money. Video-based online courses are better than college. Coding boot camps are better yet. And top tech jobs, if they're in the top right corner, I don't know why. Well, Crio claims that their stuff puts you closer to that. No idea whether or not their content is actually good, but if you are a developer, probably if you're a developer, and you have nothing to do with cloud native, you're probably not watching the show. But just in case you stumbled into the show by accident and you're looking to do more, these guys have training programs that use actual scenarios. So you're building stuff as you're learning, and that helps with the retention.
Nice.
This next one is super cool. Almost made it as a tool of the day. We think cloud native. We
do, yes.
We think cloud native, and we think frequently I think cloud native or CNCF, and I think Kubernetes, or things that are directly fitting into Kubernetes. But the truth is, there's lots of stuff that exists out there that has nothing to do with Kubernetes or container orchestration. If I am ever building something for AWS, well, it's expensive to spin stuff up on AWS just to build against it. Localstack is a mocking utility for all AWS resources. You can literally build and hit the API and get back responses and scaffold your app using fake stuff all entirely on your local machine. It never makes a request out to the cloud. It's kind of amazing. In their open source version, you have all of these things that you see here over on the left. API Gateway, ACM, CloudFormation, CloudWatch, DynamoDB, EC2. Does any of this make any sense to you?
Oh, yeah.
IAM, Kinesis, and so on. Lambda, a bunch of core AWS resources. And then for the paid versions, you get access to additional things like CloudFront, Cognito. You can mock an EKS cluster. Like, how crazy is that? I have no idea how it works. It's probably black magic, but it seems like a pretty cool thing. Why localstack? Because it's awesome. Why do you even need to ask that question? This one.
Dirk says it is cool.
Dirk, do you use it?
Dirk, do you use it? My job is to repeat what the computer says.
All right, if anybody knows what that's from, tell us in the chat. I'm trying not to slurp my coffee today.
Vito
because the mic
says-
is like right here.
Oh, slurp. Vito says, interesting. It could help test things with S3.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, especially the fact that you've got all the IAM stuff in there. Let me get through this, and then there's some other cool stuff coming up in just a minute. Like, all of this kind of fits together magically. So this is an article from February 10th about how to use kube-bench against EKS. It explains why Amazon has their own version of the CIS benchmarks, because EKS...
Tricks. Yes, you got it right.
Tricks?
Tricks. Got the reference.
Hi, Tricks. I haven't seen you in a nanosecond. Somebody's gonna make a GIF of that.
Yeah. That's it.
All right, so because EKS is a managed control plane, the straight up CIS benchmarks for Kubernetes don't apply to it, so they have their own CIS benchmarks for EKS. And that's all great. And this is how to use kube-bench and talk to your EKS server, which by itself, okay. But at the bottom of the article, they link to an Amazon article from December where they talk about AWS Security Hub being released or I guess not being released, but now being able to receive findings directly from kube-bench. So if you're using kube-bench to scan your clusters, you can push that information into AWS Security Hub and aggregate that with all of your other stuff. So you notice how we started with, here's a system, here's a tool to compromise or at least reveal the vulnerabilities in your AWS environment. Now we're moving into the ability to scan stuff, getting things into AWS Security Hub, and there's something else that will be the tool of the day in just a moment that kind of ties all this together. But we have a little bit more time before we get to the tool of the day. Do you want me to sing a song?
Yes.
No.
Do you see what I have to live with?
What do we have next? Oh, this next one is great. I especially love the name. Terrible.
Oh my god. It's like this innocent little penguin.
This was also almost a tool of the day. But since I know that Shipwreck likes to rock tool of the day after the show, I try to fit things, like I don't want to break Shipwreck. With like Terraform, Ansible, AWS, go figure it out, son. Terrible combines Terraform and Ansible. Get it?
Oh, what a
Terrible.
great name.
Yeah, it's a great name. I'm like leaning off the screen. Terraform combines, the monitor's like way over there now.
Totally.
Terraform and Ansible to create an infrastructure as code environment for doing deployments in QEMU or KVM, which is essentially the same thing. I didn't know that until last year. The idea being that it's difficult to use Terraform just for KVM VM deployments, so they're using Ansible as a template engine. Ansible is fantastic for variable definition, for determining information about hosts with the facts, and then creating Terraform plans that you can then apply with Terraform. You're giving me that look again.
No.
That look that says, I totally understand.
Totally understand. I have a message for you.
No baby sharks, man.
Baby shark.
So, I use Proxmox, which is KVM, so I don't directly have a use for this, but honestly, I don't use a lot of what Proxmox functionality can give me, and maybe there's more in Proxmox 6. I think if I build out a lab environment, I'd like to have the ability to quickly spin up and spin down VMs over there to do testing of stuff. And a tool like this, well, it's great. It takes the weaknesses of Terraform and it fixes them with the strengths of Ansible. I'm going to try and do one more because I know that I don't have a lot to say about the tool of the day. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that one?
I like seeing PHP be like, we're still in the fight. We can still do this. We're relevant. Cloud Native is owned by Go and by Python. But PHP is still valid, I think. Do you build PHP websites still?
I don't.
No?
I don't.
She's in the kitchen, Helm and PHP. That's what I eat for dinner.
Nuno's response to that is, how are you not dead?
I don't even know.
I think that was for PHP.
Okay, PHP, yeah, I know. Well, if you're still doing anything with PHP, there is apparently a wonderful plugin for Laravel that will allow you to directly control Kubernetes resources from within PHP. And it looks super friendly. It's similar to everything we've seen for the other development environments.
Sorry.
Do not talk about PHP.
Do not talk about PHP.
Yeah, so you can model your stuff and reliably deploy things. This would be great for scaffolding, testing, any type of stuff where you need to build up an environment so that you can run your stuff against it. Because honestly, I don't think anybody's really building web interfaces for controlling Kubernetes in PHP. But if you want to, that's cool. I'm not gonna tell you not to go play in traffic. Wow, nobody liked it. That's awesome. I'm sorry. Laravel's going to come and look at this later, and they're going to be like, oh.
There are a lot of snarky comments about it.
All right. Well, that leaves us with...
Followed by this. Thank you, Nuno. Very, very theatrical.
Today's tool of the day is Cloud Custodian. Cloud Custodian... Earlier in the show, I said that it's easy to be blinded in the world that we live in, where it's CNCF, Cloud Native, oh, that's Kubernetes and all of the things to plug into it. Well, Cloud Custodian is a CNCF sandbox project, and who needs some help with formatting their images so when it zooms up, they don't overflow. But whatever. Web developers, maybe the people who built this website can go take the full web stack developer course from the other guys. Anyway, this will do an audit of your cloud environment, not your Kubernetes environment, not your workloads, but your cloud environment to tell you what's going on, where you're exposed, what you can do better. And if you've been watching the show for a while, you remember that we had Policy Month where we talked about OPA Gatekeeper and Kyverno and Falco. Well, think of Cloud Custodian as a policy engine for security like Gatekeeper or Kyverno or even Falco, but for your cloud environment. Now, Falco will detect when somebody's doing something and tell you about it, or it will detect when it finds things that are misconfigured. Kyverno will tell you things that are misconfigured as well as fix them. It's a mutating admission controller, whatever, it mutates stuff. It's like an X-Man.
Okay.
Mutants, not mutating.
I can relate to that.
We're gonna get X-Men gifts here. Well, this is it for everything else.
Yes.
So you've got this for AWS, Azure, GCP public cloud environments. If we look at, so their quick start guide takes you directly to stuff. If we look at their GitHub repo, I think there's a little bit more information here. Yeah, so here's an example policy. So this policy will tell you, it'll check S3 buckets for cross-account access and actually remove it if it finds it. Cloud Custodian fits into AWS Security Hub along with kube-bench. And if you want to know just where you need to do some stuff, remember that you've got Endgame. And with that, Adrian has to vote. And with that, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
We need an ending song.
We do.
We gotta go.
That's the Baby Shark song.
Dude, you can sing anything to that. So that's it for today.
That's it.
I want to thank WifeBot for joining us. This is what you're gonna see. This is what you're gonna see. This is it. This is the future here today. I'm trying to find the subscribe button. There it is. Thank you so much for tuning in. Links to everything that we talk about on the show go up in the free community site at community.cncn.io.
Do you realize that you get a British accent every time you say that? Or do you do it intentionally?
What do you mean I get a British accent?
Every single time
No.
you switch to talking about the CNCN website, you like become British. And
British.
I giggle in the other room.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I really?
You really do. I'm sorry, continue, please.
Links to everything I talk
That's Australian.
Oh, no, it's Australian. links to everything I talk about.
Yeah.
Do Southern.
I think when you become more formal, you switch to like a British accent.
See if I can switch to a
It
Southern
makes you
accent
sound
here.
smarter.
I might not invite her back to the show.
Southern. Think,
but I need
think
to
Mary.
lead in.
Think Mary.
All right, I'm not going to do it because we got to get out of here.
Oh,
Links
right,
to everything
they're
that
still
we talk
here.
about. Yeah, they're still here. They go up at Links to everything I talk about on the show go up in the free community site at community.cncn.io. After the show ends, come join us. Community members get early, free access to the links, video replay, other exclusive content. If you have something you'd like me to consider for the show, post it in the community site or in the show's suggestions channel in Discord. Have a great day, everyone. Keep learning, and we will see you in the next show. Do you want to say the magic words?
No, those are yours. They're sacred.
Stay caffeinated.